And thanks for joining us. This afternoon, the Attorney General Godfrey Dapaah is hitting back at persons who criticize him for discharging some top officials of the government and the ruling New Patriotic Party's associated members related to matters cited in Professor Frimpong Boateng's illegal mining report. Now, the good old professor, who served as the former chairperson of the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, noted that some very senior government officials closer to the president were involved in activities of illegal mining. But the Attorney General, in his legal opinion yesterday, says the claims of the professor lacked sufficient evidence, hence he was discharging the accused persons named and cited in that report. Well, private legal practitioner Martin Pebu, who spoke to us on the back of the release of that letter and opinion by the Attorney General, says the opinion of the Attorney General is not complete. Listen.
The distraction to the forest. I can't agree with the Attorney General that there's no evidence. No. The forest was destroyed, Cobro Forest and the other one. So the distraction that CJ Alaska is said to have done, did it happen or not? I don't see the opinion talking about that. What I expect in respect of the distraction to the forest was that they would say they've gone to the field there, they've checked the forest out, and so they find a distraction. And if you find a distraction, the next thing is to find out who was there at certain periods that Frimpong Boateng mentioned. If we find that it was CJ Alaska that went there and didn't have the permits, you take on CJ Alaska, and that's Donald Isua and his people. So I don't find the opinion satisfactory in respect of the destruction of the forest, those ones. That one, we need more work on it. So this is forensic. This is forensic. We can't sit on that evidence. We need AG to send the investigators to the forest. I didn't find any statement that the investigators went there and took pictures and they did any forensic analysis. So short of that, the AG's report, the AG's opinion is not up to scratch when it comes to that specific area of any investigations being done on the forest.
Well, so that was lawyer Martin Pebu speaking to us yesterday when the Attorney General released the report. Godfrey Dapaah, the Attorney General this afternoon, is back hitting back at the critics while calling on any individual who has evidence to back the claims of Professor Boateng to do so.
And for me to also place on record that, yes, I may have been appointed by a president. The discharge of my duties as Attorney General and indeed that of the entire office is not political at all. We have many professionals, well-trained and seasoned state attorneys who work day and night to protect the interests of the state. The advice the CID, which is the subject matter of your interview, clearly shows was signed by a chief state attorney, very well-trained, and who was even a teacher of Sami Jefi, who was just called to about 3-4 years ago, or perhaps 2 years ago. Now, the point I make first and foremost is that the Office of Attorney General regularly reviews dockets by the CID, and that is in pursuance of our constitutional mandate as a principal legal advisor to the government under Article 88 of the Constitution. So this review of a docket by the CID is nothing unusual to start with. And indeed, the review was specific in relation to allegations contained in the Professor Frimpong Boateng report. The professor had made specific allegations against named individuals in his report. The president had directed the CID to investigate the allegations. The CID of Ghana Police Service indeed built a docket after critically going through a process of interviewing and indeed examining all the persons who were named in the report. Each of the individuals named in the report, a statement was taken from them, and against whom allegations have been made by Professor Frimpong Boateng. In the statements given by each of the individuals, they categorically denied any allegation against them. So then what is the burden? The burden then is to investigate the matter further. And who was in a better position to assist the CID with the conduct of investigations than the person who alleges that these individuals were engaged in wrongdoing? And the professor clearly, as recorded in the docket of the CID, refused to cooperate. A number of attempts were made to take statements from him. He even refused to give a written statement. He stated that he was relying on the bare allegations contained in his report. The CID proceeded further to probe all the allegations against each of the individuals. And they could not unearth anything at all. Indeed, I request of you, the media who perhaps are giving vent to all these unfounded allegations made by people, to supply any piece of evidence against any individual named in the report. I think it's also important to state that the work of the Attorney General is not subject to some political commentary on radio anywhere at all. It is actually a very serious matter, and the dockets are built on the strength of evidence that has been properly unearthed through proper investigations. What is the evidence in support of any of the allegations contained in the report? Absolutely none at all.
And let me quote, investigations by the police have not revealed any evidence in support of the allegations. In time past, you would have had the police give us details of their own investigations into the matter, for which reason they think that the allegations made by Professor Frimpong Boateng are baseless. But now we don't have the privilege of knowing that. Would you advise the police to do that?
We live in this era of right to information and all that. I get regular requests for information from Joy FM or any member of Joy FM requesting the CID for information at all. Case here is just simple. A situation where a docket was regularly presented to the Attorney General for review. CID had concluded its investigations in the matter, had made clear findings even before bringing the docket.
And that was the Attorney General, Godfrey Ibuadam, speaking earlier on Joy FM. And that's his challenge to any individual at all who believes that his legal opinion is not grounded on facts or perhaps good reasoning, to try as much as possible to bring up more evidence that will, of course, back the claims of the good old professor. But beyond this, is the evidence clear enough? I want to hear from Dr. Solomon Kwabena, also who's a US-based Ghanaian mining engineering consultant as well, joining us live from the US. Now, Doc, I'm grateful that you're spending some time with us here on the Pulse. Quite a busy day for you, but you've also been so passionate about issues of illegal mining, dating back to the years when the president came to the US. You had wanted to provide evidence to some of the activities of illegal mining happening here in Ghana, given your vast experience in the sector. Now we have the Attorney General stating clearly that all the claims Professor Frimpong Boateng is raising lacks evidence. Your thoughts? Doc, you would have to unmute for us so we can hear the point you're making.
All right, please, can you hear me now?
Loud and clear, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. So, Blessed, like I was trying to say, yeah, hello.
We can hear you. We're with you, Doc. Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't expect anything different from what is happening, right now. Professor Frimpong Boateng, I know, had a lot of evidence that he produced alongside the report that he sent to the president. And we all know that Prof submitted the report to the president around March 2021. And the president swept it under the carpet. The president referred the matter to the Attorney General just recently that the report became known to the public through a journalist who leaked the report. So I knew that if the president had any intention to act on the report, he would have referred the matter to the Attorney General in 2021, maybe a few months after he had the report. But the fact that he decided not to act on it until it became known to the public justifies that this matter wouldn't go anywhere. Like you rightly said, in September 2019, I went to New Jersey to, ask the president about Al-Shamwan. And after that, the next day, it was Rutgers University. I decided to produce evidence. He said, if you have evidence, gentlemen, bring it to me. I said, okay, thank you. The next day, there was another event at Rutgers University. I decided to send my evidence to the president, before I realized I was blocked from entering the event. Even police people came. I sent you the video this morning. Police people had to come in to calm me down before I left the place. So the president knows all the Galamsey activities that the people at the Jubilee House are superintending, like Professor Frimpong Boateng clearly stated.
If indeed the facts are there, why is it taking so long for Professor Frimpong Boateng to simply come out with the details, provide the evidence, so it's in the public space? Then we all can trace that.
You know, Professor Frimpong Boateng, I believe you are aware that I had serious, issues with Professor Frimpong Boateng some time back, because I saw this, the exact thing that he wrote to the president. I saw it far back 2017, 2018, 2019. And I decided to fight against it. The same Professor Frimpong Boateng, who wrote the report in 2021, was fighting against me that I was exposing government officials, including him. So the big question is, what has changed for him to write a report? He should have sent the report to the president when he was in office. He was fired from office before he sent that report. And that is why I have a challenge about the report that he wrote. But he wrote facts. And I know that some of the government officials at the district level, at the regional level, at the national level, at the Jubilee House are behind the Chinese guys. My brother, let's use common sense here. The Chinese guys that are polluting our water bodies and degrading our lands, can they work or can they engage in such illegal mining without the support of any government appointee? No way. Any location in Ghana is superintended by either a metropolitan chief executive, municipal chief executive, or district chief executive. We have police commanders all over. We have immigration officers all over. So how come these Chinese guys are continuously working with impunity without any punishment? You know, I'm the same person that asked Osafo Mafu. That was April 2019 at Washington, D.C. at our embassy. That why did they leave Aisha 1? And he said, jailing that lady wouldn't solve our problems. It wasn't important. But the big question is it important to jail Ghanaians? My brother, referring to Minerals and Mining Act 2006 Act 703, Section 83, subsection A, it states, and I quote, that only Ghanaians can be given the license to operate small-scale mining in Ghana. So why are these Chinese guys? So any Chinese guy who is operating small-scale mining in Ghana is automatically an illegal miner. And the same president enacted into law Minerals and Mining Act 2019, Act 995. That was August 20th, 2019. August 20th, 2019. The president enacted into law the offenses, the punishments for offenses for those who engage in illegal mining. And it stated clearly there, I sent you the video, I sent you the document. It said any illegal miner is supposed to be liable for 15 to 25 years imprisonment. So the question is, if the Attorney General has justified that those people in government and at the Jubilee House were engaging in illegal mining, then it means those people were liable for 15 to 25 years imprisonment.
But let's be fair. Let's be fair to the Attorney General, isn't it? The fact that this is someone who has to go to court with facts that are prosecutable. It's not as though maybe it's simply coming from Professor Frimpong Boateng's report, then we solely rely on that document, head to court. It's not enough. We need much more, right? Like the professor himself willing to attest, to come before the Ghana Police Service, give pieces of evidence, leads, for example, to help the service. He's not doing that. What else could the Attorney General do in this case?
My brother, I think I've listened to Professor Frimpong Boateng's interview, his recent interviews, a lot of them.
Right.
And he's been saying he provided evidence. Do you remember there was a time that some guys sent some evidence to the president, and some of the Jubilee House guys removed some of the document and stuff some time back? So wouldn't it be like he sent the evidence, but some people took the evidence away or something? Look, Professor Frimpong Boateng, after this interview, I'm gonna call him myself. I'll call Prof, because I know I had some confusions with him some time back, but I'll call him as my uncle and ask him to give me the evidence to me. I will fly to Ghana, maybe December or January myself, go to Jubilee House and give it to the president. If he still insists that there was no evidence, I will provide the evidence to the president. And I mean what I'm saying, my brother. We can't sit in a country where we allow foreigners conniving with government officials who are supposed to protect our environment to destroy our environment. Where is the future, my brother? Where is the future? So I think this is the time that we all need to act. Whether you are a journalist, whether you are an engineer like me, whether you are, a politician or whatever, we all need to fight against this, because it's becoming unbecoming. And there are a lot of things that, I'm on air, I can't disclose. The gold for oil deal, where did they get the gold from? Tell me. If you know, tell me. Where did they get the gold? The same Jubilee House guys who are behind the the illegal miners, are producing the gold for the oil.
Okay, these are claims you're making. These are claims you're making that we're not independent in that position to independently verify. Because so let's. I appreciate your understanding on this one. So let's move on. Let's stick with the matter. We don't have evidence on that.
It's frustrating, man.
I get the point, and we are equally concerned about this. Extensive work done, poison for gold. We've seen Erastus Asare Donko do a lot more work on this whole fight against illegal mining. Will it ever end?
My brother, I can confidently tell you that if this mess can end in the country, then there should be a paradigm shift in government, such that you see, the same DCEs, MCEs, regional ministers, regional party chairmen, and all those people whom Professor Frimpong Boateng mentioned their names, are the same people trying to force Dr. Bawumia on Ghanaians. I don't know if you have realized that. I'm not trying to do politics here. But if we can change this mess, then we need to change this government. And I will plead to all MPP delegates to vote against Dr. Bawumia on November 4th, so that a new face will come and face President Mahama, whoever wins. I know President Mahama has told me, myself, he has told me personally that he would like to address this problem. Kennedy Japan has also told me personally that he would like to address this problem. But Dr. Bawumia will continue the same mess with the same people who are behind him.
Okay.
And please, I'm not trying to do politics, but that is the fact. They should vote against Dr. Bawumia so that a new face will come and change this mess. And
we'll keep that as your opinion. Yeah, I get that. We'll keep that as your opinion, because that's your political opinion. You are entirely entitled to that. So you can state that clearly as to what you believe the solution is. And you believe that it should be political, voting out the entire government, possibly bringing in a new set of people that will address the issue. That's entirely your opinion. Now, when it comes to the small-scale sector, which appears to be our head-on now, policy reforms and strategic moves to deal with the matter. Where do we start off from in terms of policy if this new set is supposed to push for some changes?
Thank you. There are a lot of policies, and President, I've granted a lot of interviews on Joy News, Newsfile, UTV, TV3, and all those TV and radio stations in Ghana, and I've shared my opinion. You remember when Honorable Peter Amewu became the Lands and Natural Resources Minister? He sent me to Ghana. He sent me and my team to Ghana to conduct field assessment to understand the problem and come up with solution. These same government officials that Professor Frimpong mentioned their names, block us from doing the job. So, like I said, there should be a political will, to address this problem. Now, as of today, as I'm talking to you today, the government has not come up with standard operating procedures that the licensed small-scale miners can operate to ensure water protection and land protection. They don't have it. They have drafted a lot of policies here and there, but none of the policies can solve the problem because they don't engage the right technical people who will help them to address the problem. I'm in the United States, I work in a mining company. We mine gold. Why don't we pollute water bodies? Why don't we degrade the lands? It's because we follow the right standard operating procedures. And this government, because they are the same people behind the Chinese guys who are polluting our water bodies, they don't want to do the right thing. Now, we have licensed small-scale miners who are legitimate to mine. We have illegal miners who are galamseyers. They don't have the license. And they have their community mining stuff. That's another issue altogether that I can't talk about it today. It's a long story. All these three categories, pollute water bodies and degrade lands. What is the government doing to address the problem? All what they know is sending the military to sack them. My brother, the military approach has not solved the problem for the past 7 years, and it's never going to solve the problem. If the government will engage the right technical people with the requisite knowledge and experience to help in the small-scale mining sector, I think that will be the best way to go. Other than that, Dr. Bawumia will continue with the same thing, and the mess will continue, and people will continue to suffer from deadly diseases like kidney diseases, liver diseases, heart diseases, lung diseases, and all sorts of diseases because of the dangerous chemicals that they are using.
In fact, I was about going there. The issue about the latest we have on the documentary Poison for Gold, where you see, of course, the use of mercury clearly affecting those in the riverine communities. Is there technology now, looking at how advanced the world is? You are in the mining sector yourself. A possibility of, first of all, cleaning up the level of toxics that we have in these water bodies and doing the mining in a manner that will be very friendly to the environment. Is technology that advanced now?
Yes, there's technology. There is a solution to the problem. It's up to the government to have the political will to find a solution. They are not ready to find a solution. Like I said, United States, we mine gold. Do you know that United States is the 4th largest producer of gold in the world? Ghana is about between 10 and 15. United States produces gold more than Ghana. How come we don't pollute water bodies here with mercury and all those stuff, but we pollute water bodies in Ghana? How come? It's because these people are not ready to tap into the knowledge base of the Ghanaians abroad and help address the problem. That is the issue. Apart from that, my brother, apart from political will, we can solve the problem. And like I said, either President Mahama or Honorable Kennedy Japan can solve this issue. That is my stand, and that is my personal opinion.
Okay, I respect that, and it's a pleasure speaking to you this afternoon. Dr. Solomon, who's a mining engineer consultant in the United States of America, joining us here on The Pulse. Okay, let's talk about Cecilia Dapaah, because the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, has actually joined the Office of the Special Prosecutor in a synchronized effort aimed at delving deeper into the matters of the former sanitation minister. The joint investigation now will touch on assets and financial transactions of the Madame Cecilia Dapaah, which is tied to activities within the United States itself. This was revealed in a statement by the special prosecutor, indicating that his outfit and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, that's FBI, have initiated concurrent inquiries into the activities of the former sanitation minister. Excerpts of that has been posted on X, as we are displaying on the screens now, pointing out that the Office of the special prosecutor and the FBI have initiated concurrent inquiries into the activities of Cecilia Dapaah, who happens to be the former Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, and her associates as well. These investigations primarily focus on examining their assets and financial transactions within the United States of America. This collaborative effort is to ascertain the lawfulness of Mrs. Dapaah and her associates' wealth, both in the context of funds and transitioning from Ghana to the United States and vice versa. So it's the reason for which the OSP is much more concerned about this. Even as we speak, Cecilia Dapaah is in court today, awaiting a judgment by the court on her application by her lawyers asking for an abridgment of time. We'll cross you over to the court shortly, but I want to bring in first presidential correspondent Elton Brobe, who's been looking at this latest document and decision by the OSP to collaborate with the FBI. Elton, what's the grounding for the OSP's decision now to work with the FBI?
Well, Blessed, I think beyond what you just read, the OSP is not providing any other information regarding this beyond what they've just put out in the media. And they are saying that they are collaborating, or they are working together with the Federal Bureau of Investigation of the United States, and they've initiated concurrent inquiries into the activities of Cecilia Dapaah, the former Minister for Sanitation, Water Resources, and associates. These investigations, according to the OSP, will focus on examining her assets and financial transactions within the United States of America. This collaboration effort is to ascertain the lawfulness of Ms. Dapaah and her associate wealth, both in the context of the funds transitioning from Ghana to the United States of America. Remember that if you look at the first response that Madam Cecilia Dapaah provided, and also the husband, Mr. Daniel Osekfo, provided to the OSP in relating to the matter in question, the husband of Madam Cecilia Dapaah referenced her niece in the United States of America, who, according to the husband, has developed the habit of consistently sending him money to undertake to supervise some project that this niece is undertaking in Ghana. And there's a mention of some $200,000 and some amount of money in dollars. Now, they always went on to say that they've checked some of these things and the matter is inconclusive. So my understanding is that it is premised on this that the OSP is taking this step forward and trying to get more information regarding the transfer of money between Ghana and the United States regarding the persons in focus. In this case, the husband of Madam Cecilia Dapaah and, of course, Madam Cecilia Dapaah herself. So this is what we know beyond what the OSP has put out. This, according to them, is just the foundation, and in the coming days, they may be sharing with the public as and when they get more information on this matter.
Grateful for bringing us some update, Elton Brobe, our presidential correspondent, also monitoring what it is that the Office of the Special Prosecutor has been up to. The latest is that the FBI will be involved in this case. Also in court today, the court and Accra High Court is actually granting an application brought before it by the lawyers of Cecilia Dapaah for the abridgment of time in this particular case. The court says that the ruling is based on justice, fairness, and expeditious trial. So let's get more from Richard Kojinyako, who's joining us live from the court premises where this judgment has just been delivered. We know that Cecilia Dapaah has been pointing to the fact that this case has brought her hardship and, some sort of severe public criticism, a reason for which she's asking the courts now to abridge the time, which has now been granted. Richard Kojinyako, if you can hear me, bring us up to speed with what's been happening in court today.
Also, Blessed, we are back in court. We're here early in the morning where the various arguments were made by lawyers for Madam Cecilia Dapaah and lawyers for the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Let me take you back to how the cash of Madam Cecilia Dapaah was seized in her matrimonial home by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and how the money in the bank was also frozen by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And so this happened on the 31st of August. And so the court ordered the Office of the Special Prosecutor on the 31st of August to return the seized cash and then unfreeze the bank account of Madam Cecilia Dapaah. The Office of the Special Prosecutor complied with this order, and on the 5th of September, they returned the cash, and they also lifted the freezing orders they put on the bank account of the former sanitation minister. And then they seized the cash again and froze the account again. And then when the cash is seized and then the account is frozen, they need to go to the court for a confirmation of the freezing and the seizure order. And this was done on the 11th of September. Now, when they filed this motion, the return date was supposed to be on the 18th of October. But lawyers for Madam Cecilia Dapaah said that this back and forth is really having an untold hardship on Madam Cecilia Dapaah, because she is that the monies have been seized, the account has been frozen, and she's going through a lot of hardship. And so what they decided to do was to file for an abridgment of time so that the courts, in the court's wisdom, will bring the date forward so it will ensure an expedited trial. And so that is what happened today. They filed. But the argument by Madam Cecilia Dapaah's lawyers is what I've told you, that the woman is going through a lot of hardship and all of that. But in the argument of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, they said that this application, the substantive application that is supposed to be heard on the 18th of October, this very month, is not a repeated one. And that is an argument that lawyers for Madam Cecilia Dapaah, they keep on making. They say that in substance and in form, it is the same motion or application that they keep on making, because the earlier one that was filed, the court struck it out, indicating that there was no basis, there was the conditions precedent for the seizing of the cash and then freezing of the account was not there. And that is why the court ordered the OSP to return the cash. But in defense, the Office of the Special Prosecutor said that indeed this is different, and they will prove that one in court. So the judge rose and then came back at 3 p.m. and a short while ago, the judge gave his ruling, Justice Edward Chum, and he indicated that having considered the various arguments made by Madam Cecilia Dapaah's lawyers and lawyers for the Office of the Special Prosecutor, they are inclined to grant the application for the abridgment of time filed by Madam Cecilia Dapaah's lawyer with some slight modifications. So instead of hearing the matter today, time is fast spent, and so they have adjourned it to tomorrow, that is Thursday, and so they will come back to court. So the application for the abridgment of time has been granted. And you know what? Tomorrow, there are 2 other cases that are current before the court on Madam Cecilia Dapaah. So this will add to 8. So there are various strands of this case that is currently before the court as well. But interestingly, today, Madam Cecilia Dapaah herself was in court. She was clad in all black. She was looking very cute, held the husband's hand, and then ushered the husband in the courtroom. And after that, there was some exchange of pleasantries between Madam Cecilia Dapaah and then lawyer Martin Pebu. And as for the details of what transpired, it's very interesting and revealing. I overheard Madam Cecilia Dapaah saying that I'm just exchanging pleasantries with you, and the commentaries and the other things that have been made by Mr. Martin Pebu has indeed caused them some kind of discomfort. In fact, it became some kind of banter between lawyer Martin Pebu and Victoria Bad, the lawyer for Madam Cecilia Dapaah. So this is what really transpired in court. In fact, for the first time I saw Madam Cecilia Dapaah in court, I was sitting right on the back. They were sitting in front of me. And so that is basically what happened in court today. So we are back in court tomorrow to continue with the substantive matter. So the court will be hearing the motion for the confirmation of the seizure of the cash from Madam Cecilia Dapaah's matrimonial home, and then the freezing order by the OSP. And so we'll be back in court on Thursday. From the court complex, my name is Richard Kojenyako. Blessed.
Richard, you're not going anytime soon. I just wanted a bit more of an update on that exchange you were talking about and what ensued between, Cecilia Dapaah and lawyer Martin Pebu, as you point out. Some exchange there. Do we know the reason for which the minister approached the lawyer? Because she was on air. He was actually on air. I mean, lawyer Martin Pebu yesterday, pointing out a number of issues with this case. Okay, we'll get back to some updates for you on that. It looks like we've lost Richard Kojunyanko there. But of course, we'll keep our eyes on this. The latest being that the FBI is now working with the Office of the Special Prosecutor to further probe this matter. We'll bring you updates subsequently. And now we can talk about the mastermind of the leaked tape, allegedly plotting the removal of the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Dampare, and that's Chief Bugri Naabu, who's now saying that he has no regrets recording the controversial conversations with the police officers involved. According to him, his intention was to expose the mafia in the Ghana Police Service to the president. Speaking to the media after Parliament's ad hoc committee hearings today, Bugri Naabu, however, indicated that he feels vindicated by the testimonies given by these witnesses. He therefore wants the committee to admit his evidence because that's the truth and it has been established. We can listen to excerpts of his address earlier today.
We met the committee again. You were there the other time. COP Mensa, Asari, and JB denied that they never talked to me on phone. Yesterday, they confessed it because I present the tape, and the committee have the tape now with them, and they play it, and they say yes, it's true. They actually speak to me. So I want to tell you, I want them to the committee to see it, but the committee says they want to conclude before they come out. But as a chief, which day I told you that, which he wouldn't tell us after all what they want. I was in my office, they came. I didn't beg them to come. And all what they come to say, I think it was very, very important. And for the state secret, for MPP government, to have that kind of thing going on in the police service is very dangerous. So I taped them to go and give it to the president, which I actually surrendered the tape to the president. The tape I had never adopted. Neither what they say, their voice. They've all admitted now that it was their voice. So I want to clear my name that I am not a liar and I can't be a liar. What should I regret? I won't regret because what they said in the tape is serious. For a country to running the police service is like this, which a superintendent and a retired COP and another superintendent going around with this kind of information is not safe. I never regret it.
But JB said he never spoke to you on phone.
He admitted yesterday in the committee. Go and ask them.
So now JB also admitted that?
Yes. All of them admitted. They tell if you want to play the tape for you to see. And if they are denying it, I will tell the committee and get any television station and read and play for the whole Ghanaian to hear it. I have it with me. Thank you very much.
There you have it, Bugri Naabu stating his side once more, insisting that the audio tape has not been doctored. That's his claim. The side of COPLX Mensa and Superintendent George Asari disagree, and it's the reason for which today's in-camera hearing is something that we'd want to learn more about. Joining us now is Samuel Ngura, who's been monitoring all of that development for us. Sami, let's talk about this latest comments from Bugri Naabu. Beyond that as well, the chairperson is out once more, touching on a number of issues which we will get to. But let's start off with the reason why Bugri Naabu is coming back to the media, throwing that challenge that the full tape may be in the public soon.
Well, so we know we are done with the public hearing of the case. and then it is now the in-camera. So what the committee is doing now is to meet with all the witnesses. Today they were supposed to wait for additional evidence from any person who has interest in this ongoing probe, more especially from the witnesses or the accusers of the IGP. That's, we are told, the COP Alex Mensah's lawyers made or added some additional information. We are also told that there was an amendment to some of the evidences that have been put before the committee by the lawyers of the accusers. So Bugri Naabu feels the whole issue has been dragged because they thought that today would have been a full-blown investigation into it. They would have somehow got into the merits of it, maybe if there's a reason for any re-examination, cross-examination, but that didn't happen, and it was just a brief hearing. So he feels the whole issue has been dragged, and since these witnesses have testified that there were those who were captured in the tape, at least the committee should admit his tape entirely, because he has not doctored it, and because he's a chief, he wouldn't lie to Ghanaians, and that is why he's trying to challenge the accusers of the IGP that if they think that what he has put before the committee is a lie, then he will seek the permission of the committee and then play the entire audio, in which we understand is about 2 hours and some minutes. So the whole Ghanaians will have a fair idea and a formed or an informed decision on what is exactly going on.
Okay. Beyond that, the chairperson addressed the press and gave some clue about what the future of this case might be.
Exactly. So they are supposed to end the entire probe. That's the in-camera hearing. The committee will submit their report by Saturday. That'll be on the 14th of October. However, we are told that tomorrow they are suspending the sitting. It's indefinite. So the witnesses are not appearing before the committee. However, the committee members are going to review the documents and evidences, and also, according to lawyer Atachia, clinically listen to the tapes, and then that will inform their reports. We can listen to his address after the meeting.
Well, the matters are coming to a head, and we afforded the witnesses the opportunity to say whether they have any additional matters they want to look at. So what we've garnered so far, we want to retire and look at it, and then we could then start writing our report. We need to pay regard to all the evidence we have, and if there are areas where we need to shore up the evidence by calling people back or saying that it is sufficient, then that will be the end of it. There was a written evidence that we look at, and it came from COP Mensah. That he has additional evidence, so he released it to the committee. And he didn't divulge this because of the essence of the in-camera hearing. So we need to be careful that the in-camera is not thrown into the public domain. That would not be right.
Another worrying incident had to do with the fact that you have been accused of being biased. Are you really hurt about that?
I believe that is a very, very dubious and devilish posture by whoever is doing this. Because I don't know why anybody in his right mind would say that I want to change the evidence to favor somebody. I was the self-same Atachia who afforded the IGP the opportunity to come and put his case across. That was good, was it not? So why do you now turn around that I'm trying to be biased? When somebody tells you that, look, this tape that you've brought, the first one, I think certain things are not on it, but there's a full comprehensive tape. Imputing that the first tape is doctored. Then Chief Bugri Naabu brings one, which he owns up that is a comprehensive tape. Why would you say by putting it across that they are imputing the credibility of the first tape? That will make me somebody who has a motive. And I want to say to the information of the general public, now, what is my motive? To become the next IGP? What was it that the Speaker saw in me, an MPP member of Parliament, to chair a committee of this nature? That's a vote of confidence that this is a man that I believe will be a very fair referee for the benefit of what we want to unearth. and come to our conclusions.
Chairman, it is not supposed to be a media warfare, but an in-camera one. But that's apparently what is currently happening. What are you going to do? Are you going to stamp your authority on this?
I leave it to those who want to be wayward with the greatest of respect. I'm not going to control IGP's lawyers. I've said it several times. A man who has the truth on his side will come into the hallowed chambers where we are, not to engage in media frenzy. That the man has no integrity and is biased. You couldn't table it before him.
Is it the case that when they appeared before you, they didn't talk about it at all?
They didn't talk about it at all.
Why? You didn't ask them?
We didn't have to even glorify them with, to say. Because if they were bold, they won't use the media. They'll come before it and give us the basis of saying that.
As the chairman, did you express your revulsion against their comments?
I did. Because I don't see why today, as we are here, somebody will say that the chairman is blocking the hierarchy of the police from sitting into the in-camera hearing, and that is evidence of bias.
And what was their demeanor? Did they apologize? Did you demand apology from them?
I didn't even bother. The reason why I wouldn't bother with some of these matters are very clear. I'm not here for that exercise. I'm not here to sort of skew evidence in favor of another person. What will be the dividend to me? I don't know what happens in the police service.
The schedule for this in-camera hearing was supposed to end on Saturday, 14th, right?
Yes.
But you have indefinitely suspended the sitting. Is this not going to be protracted again?
It's not going to be protracted because right now we need to look at the evidence and most probably start writing our reports, unless there are residual matters that we inform them. If there are residual matters that we later discover after reading the evidence in cold print and also listening to the audio. We are going to listen to the audio tomorrow. All the members of the committee have been summoned here to come and listen to the audio and listen to it attentively. So now we begin to internalize what was said. Then we'll make our decisions.
So the IGP wasn't here. Was there a reason for his absence?
Alain is not well. That's what they said.
So tomorrow, it is only the committee members that are going to scrutinize the documents before you?
Precisely.
And when are we looking at the next sitting?
Well, depending on what will come out of what we call our interrogation of the matters, we'll take a quality decision. If it is relevant that we call somebody back, we'll call the person back.
Will you meet your timelines?
I don't know that we can be hurried into doing something shoddy, because people will begin to say that we did a shoddy job. So far as I'm concerned, nobody can talk about timelines when justice is concerned.
Chairman, are you not abusing your powers?
At all. We are being meticulous and fair.
It is supposed to be an inquisitorial, probe. Is it the case that you are still asking for additional evidence, or you've closed that window?
I'm not asking for any additional. I was asking them, the witnesses, giving them the space to go and reflect on what they said. That would you want to add anything to what we said? That is a generous person, is that not so?
Yeah, a generous person, he says he is. We'll wait to see what the outcome of the report will be. But, Sami, we need to go. Now, the future of the case, it's not clear when they're returning, or are we getting a sense of that? So
hopefully that'll be determined after the committee meeting to listen to the tape and also review the documents before it, as you heard from lawyer Samo Athachia there. So after reviewing the documents, they will decide whether to call the witnesses back or they should just go ahead and then conclude their reports and recommendations to Parliament.
I see. And I'm hoping that, of course, more reactions will be greeting us afterwards. But Sami Mbura, my colleague who's been monitoring developments for us. You're watching The Pulse on the Joy News channel. When we get back, we'll tell you more about the efforts by the Volta River Authority to support individuals who've been affected by the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. It's wreaking havoc, and we need to talk about that. We'll be back shortly. Grateful to have you with us. The Volta River Authority says it will continue to work with the National Disaster Management Organization and other stakeholders to monitor the situation and to provide some regular updates to this latest exercise of spillage of the water from the Akosombo and Pond dams. Many riverine communities are yet to recover from the extent of damage caused by the rising water levels owing to the spillage of the dam. However, a statement released by the Volta River Authority says that it has at least provided some relief items in collaboration with the National Disaster Management Organization, as offering some more support to those who've been affected by the exercise. Here are excerpts of the statement on your screens now, pointing out that the Volta River Authority, in collaboration with the National Disaster Management Organization, is offering support to communities affected by the ongoing spillage of water from the Akosombo and Pond dams through the presentation of some relief items in keeping with the VRA's commitment to alleviate plight of communities, whilst monitoring the spill situation that has affected some communities in the lower Volta Basin. The authority decided to provide essential relief items. Paragraph 3 of the statement points out that the items are to help mitigate the difficulties being faced by communities that have been impacted adversely as a result of the intensified spill rates. The presentation of the relief items took place Wednesday, which is today, at a ceremony that was attended by the municipal district chief executives of Central Town, North Town, Keta, and Anglong districts in the Adidome area of the Volta region. The items, which included mattresses, blankets, and so many other food items and clothes, were presented by Engineer Ken Arthur, the Deputy Chief Executive in charge of services at the Volta River Authority. The Director General of NATMO, Mr. Eric Nanajaman Prempe, also received the items on behalf of the affected communities. The VRA, which is the Volta River Authority, commenced this controlled spillage on September 15, 2023 due to the consistent rise in the inflow patterns and water levels of the Akosombo reservoir, in line with the emergency preparedness and plan, as well as the standard operating procedures. The authority is notifying stakeholders, including those within the downstream communities, to be aware of the situation. The authority wishes to reiterate that it will continue to work with NATMO and others to also monitor the situation and provide some regular updates to the general public accordingly. So there you have the statement coming through from the Corporate Affairs unit of the Volta River Authority. Let's speak to Joshua Tigo, who is Programs Manager at Dome FM, joining us on the telephone lines now, because he's been to some of the communities affected by this spillage. Joshua, where are you now? What can you report about the extent of damage?
Good evening to all of you. I'm currently at Mafia in the North Town. I got here around 11:30 to meet me thereabouts today.
How are residents coping in the community?
Okay, so first of all, to comment on the statements that you just read from the Volta River Authority, I need to say that, yes, statements should have clarified the fact that they are yet to comment the statements of the relief items that you have mentioned in their statement, because the people are distressed. There are no relief items at all. As at the time that I got here, and as at the time that I am speaking to you, I haven't seen any relief items, except to say that I have spoken to DC of North Song, Osborne, who said they had had a meeting at Adidome and they were going to be doing some distribution. Let me add that this distress started somewhere Thursday last week. And so to wait until today and issue a statement that you have distributed relief items, I think that it's a bit disingenuous, and perhaps they should just do the right thing by saying that, look, they want to commence what they should have started somewhere last week.
What can you say about the rising water levels? Even as we speak, do we have the levels coming down, receding, or you still have the situation?
Not at all. Not at all. The situation continues to be very, very, very precarious for the people here. In fact, as at today that I go to Mafia alone, I can tell you that there are over 500 households that are in water because of the rising levels, and the levels continue to rise. I went to parts of town that you would consider to be somewhere in the mid portion of the town, and you continue to see water rising into areas like that. So it's not a situation that is coming. It's not a situation that is receding. It's a situation that continues to give the people cause for concern.
I see. What more have you been gathering from the residents there? I believe you've been engaging some of them.
Yeah, exactly. I've engaged a number of residents who are not happy at all. I mean, some would tell you that I mean, first of all, they are not happy with the level of communication that is coming from the Volta River Authority. I know that the authority has issued some statements in the past, but everybody knows that when you are engaging locals and you want to deal with locals, there are many other forms of comms that you would have to do with them. It doesn't look that those communications have gone down well with the people, and so they are not happy. They are not happy that there are no relief items. As I speak to you now, a lot of them are sleeping outside their homes, and so you can imagine what that means. They are the mercy of mosquitoes. The people here, because the water, they don't have, potable water. A lot of them drink directly from the river. And now that there is flooding that entered into the bushes and into homes, they cannot drink from these places. And so if we don't have water supplies that will come to them, electricity has been cut, obviously, for good reasons, because these are people who go into their flooded homes to go and retrieve items, and so there could be electrocution. So it's a dire situation. The people are not happy. They are not happy with central government response. They are not happy with local government response. And the better we responded to their needs, the earlier we responded to their needs, the better. I am glad, though, that as at today, there are some relief items that are going to come. But I do not know the volumes of those relief items, but I can tell you that the people are not happy. Okay. The situation, in fact, my information is that there are going to be a lot more water that is going to be spilled from the dam, and so it is not a situation that is going to go down anytime soon.
Okay, thanks for spending some time with us, Joshua Chigo, Programs Manager at Dome FM, joining us there. The aggrieved customers of the defunct Gold Coast Fund management this afternoon accusing the President, Nana Addo Dankwa-Akufo-Addo, led government of being insensitive to their plights. They say that more than 24 hours after they started picketing the Finance Ministry to demand payment of their locked-up investments, no government official has addressed them. Members of the group are demanding the disbursement of some locked-up funds as they say that they are yet to receive some 8.6 billion approved by Parliament to pay them. The Security and Exchanges Commission revoked the company's operating license in 2018 as part of government's financial sector cleanup. Maxwell Agbagba has been looking at that story. Comes through with this report.
You were crying because of my money. Because of my money. I need money to pay my children's school fees. I don't have, whilst I have money here. That's why I'm crying. I'm pleading for them to see us. They should have pity on us and give us our money. Yeah, it's our sweat, our blood. That's why I'm crying, please. That's all that I can say to you right now. Thank you very much.
Okay, sure. So this is the frontage of the Finance Ministry, and these aggrieved customers of the Gold Coast Fund management have been picketing the Finance Ministry since yesterday. Some of them slept on the hard concrete floor. Many of them slept in the chairs that they brought here. They came here with their mosquito repellent and their beds. They tell us that they're not going to leave here until their monies are given to them. Let's speak to convener of the group. Convener of the group, what's your name? Charles.
Charles Nyame.
Charles
Nyame. We just sat on this on the chairs, and some of them they just put the chairs together and they spread their backs on it. That's how we slept, under the weather, in the mosquito. You see, it is very bad that we don't have leadership in this country. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. We don't have leadership who have sense of humanity and conscience. Look at the ages of these people. And we have been here for 24 hours now, and we have not had any leader in the government of Akufo-Addo to come and say a soothing words that will calm us down. But we are promising the Ministry of Finance that if we are sleeping here today, we will sleep here with them. That is it.
They won't go.
If we are sleeping here today,
don't allow them to go home.
We will sleep here with them. And nobody, no policeman can stop us. No policeman can stop it today. If we are sleeping here today, we will sleep with the workers. And let the policemen come and let them come and beat us. No policeman can stop that. Yes. No policeman, even the IGP cannot stop us unless they shoot us with live bullets. I promise them. That is it. I promise them. Yeah. Everybody in this building will sleep here with us today. They will not open them. They will not go out to their homes. Sure. They will feel how it looks like.
Hi, what's your name?
Rosemond.
Okay, Rosemond.
Rosemond Gruniski.
Okay, how much is locked up? How much of your
My money?
Yeah.
Over 2 million Ghana cedi.
Over 2 million Ghana cedi.
Yeah. I and my husband.
Say wow. And you also slept here today?
Yeah. Maybe my head is paining me. I slept here. I didn't go anywhere. I was just the chair there, put the chairs there. I was just sitting there throughout the night. Yeah. So I didn't bat nothing. Yes, because you see, but somebody has to come out and tell us something. We are human. We are human beings. We are not animals. You see, we are human beings, and the money that we put there is not a galance money. It's our hard-earned money. You see, it's our hard-earned money. So they should give us some small respect. After all, we are taxpayers. We pay tax. So they should give us the due respect and even see us as human beings and say something to us. But they are just looking at us as if we are just nobody. It's painful, man. It's painful. Okay. It's painful. So we are ready for them. Yeah.
Thank you. There was another woman who was crying. Where's she?
Oh, and we'll keep monitoring that very protest which is underway at the Finance Ministry and bring you some updates. The German government is pledging to support the Republic of Ghana past a crucial stage of the external debt restructuring negotiation that will require Ghana's official creditors under the Paris Club G20 framework to give some financial assurances to the International Monetary Fund for a bailout. The International Monetary Fund, at a news conference in Accra a couple of days ago, noted that it will release the next tranche of some $600 million to speedily to Ghana if the country secures a specific financial commitment from external creditors. Meanwhile, the German government says that it will respond to the country's request for assistance to master the severe economic downturn. Germany, which is the second largest creditor to Ghana, says that it will live up to expectation under the G20 framework negotiations scheduled for November this year. Daniel Kroll is Germany's ambassador to Ghana and reveals that there's an elaborate plan to help Ghana turn the corner. There's more in this report. A toast to closer ties and increased economic partnership. That was the resounding message when the German mission in Ghana hosted Ghanaians and other members of the diplomatic corps to mark this year's German unification anniversary. Ghana, which has had a long history of friendly ties with the German government, is hoping to increase its cooperation, especially as the country faces its worst economic crisis with an ongoing bailout from the IMF. This plea for support was echoed by Minister for Railway Development John Peter Amewu, who called for increased German assistance and increased investment to promote economic growth.
I would like to acknowledge the Germans' financial support to the critical sectors of Ghana's economy, including the renewable energy development, the financial sector strengthening, education and skill development, digital transformations, good governance, food security, female empowerment, and support to medium and small-scale industries. The call for increased German investment in Ghana and Africa in general is imperative against the backdrop of ongoing global development, not least the Russia-Ukraine war, the terrorism, social and political upheavals in other parts of Africa, especially the Sahel region. I would like to conclude by reiterating the value that Ghana attached to its relationship with Germany, and to the state that Ghana is appreciative of Germany's various forms of assistance, some of which have been mentioned by the ambassador. It is my fervent hope that Ghana and Germany will continue to work together to further deepen our cooperations at the bilateral and multilateral levels, particularly on issues relating to peace and security, climate change, renewable energy capacity building, and sustainable growth for all.
German ambassador to Ghana, Daniel Krul, assured that his government will respond to Ghana's request for assistance to master the severe economic downturn. Germany, which is Ghana's second largest creditor, says it will live up to expectation as the government readies itself to enter crucial negotiations with the Paris Club in November this year.
And it is essential for safeguarding our United Nations. Countries on the African continent in particular are feeling the dire consequences, including Ghana, where the Russian war exacerbated the outbreak of the simmering financial crisis. Germany, as the second largest creditor to the country, remained committed to respond to Ghana's request for assistance to master the severe financial and economic crisis, to regain fiscal space, to return onto the path of economic growth and lay the foundation for prosperity of future generations. In the G20 common framework, Germany will live up to its responsibility, and we will build on our bilateral development cooperation portfolio of currently over 700 million euros, and we will agree on new initiatives and programs. The next governmental negotiations will take place in November this year. And German Chancellor Scholz will host another Compact with Africa summit in Berlin in November that aims at generating fresh private direct investment for the African continent, including Ghana.
The two countries are seeking to further consolidate the stronger ties with a visit by German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, who is expected to pay a state visit to Ghana later this year. God bless our homeland, Ghana. Okay then, recent data from Air Monitors has exposed a startling reality that some of Accra's largest markets, including the Agbogloshie Market, Mokola, Nima and Medina, are amongst the city's most polluted places, particularly on market days. In our latest series on air quality and pollution, we uncover the alarming truth about these market women or goers breathe, and why a simple visit to the market may now require a protective mask.
In the early morning hours at Agbogloshie Market, one of Ghana's largest markets, a thick cloud of plumes fills the air. This bustling market is already witnessing a steady stream of visitors. The hazy atmosphere contains lethal cocktails of pollutants, many of which are invisible to the naked eye. It includes smoke from the burning of various kinds of waste, vehicle emissions, and dust stirred up as a result of dried, uncollected silt from drains.
It appears Agbogloshie is a monster pollution machine. Everyone and everything in here adds to the pollution.
Surprisingly, one of the biggest pollution sources is the scrapyard, more appropriately, an electronic graveyard where fires burn all day, even early in the morning. The thick smoke and stench wafts through the entire market. Here, discarded electrical and metal products find new life, representing opportunities for the scavengers who turn them into income.
Somebody that bring the copper. Me myself, I will burn it. And that man will take and pay me some small money. Maybe we go take that small money and go eat.
As if to contribute to the pollution of the entire area, Bina, not his real name, engages in the daily task of burning wires to extract copper from the rubber coating, earning a meager 15 cedis each day.
Me burn it, I'll burn it, come out the rummage. So if me burn come out the rummage, then that man go take the fresh one and go to the company and sell it and give that man and use the money and go there. That place, you call it barrier. In this work, you know it's easy.
Yeah, I know.
Because you know, see the fire. Sometimes, if some people burn it, capacitor they inside. Capacitor will come like it go blast. You know, see the body capacitors. So this one maybe is a buy new, and buy new. You know, see this one hot.
We also met Ralph Rufy, who was gathering fresh waste to burn. To him, that is the best way to deal with the waste. He argues that there is nothing wrong with burning waste, but he wears a nose mask.
Oh, because the environment's not good for me.
But you end up burning the waste.
Yeah.
You make the environment unhealthy again for the others.
No, the time I will burn the thing around 12 to 1 o'clock. Nobody is here. Now burn it and go.
Unknown to them, burning of all forms is illegal. Director of the Environmental Health and Sanitation Unit of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Florence Kuchi, explains the bylaw that prohibits the burning of waste.
Burning indiscriminately is an offense, and if you are caught, you will be sent to court, and a fine can be placed on you, and you can either go to prison for 3 months or 6 months when you are burning.
According to data from air quality monitors scattered across the region, areas such as Agbogbloshie, Makola and Nima Market consistently exhibit some of the poorest air quality levels in the city. The grim reality is that unsuspecting patrons frequenting the market unknowingly inhale exceedingly polluted air.
When you come to the market, what's the first thing that hits you?
Air pollution, the environment, deaths. I mean, it's very bad, very, very bad, extremely bad.
Caroline Menta is among the multitude of individuals who frequent Agbogbloshie for their everyday household necessities. She acknowledges the possibility that pollutants could have contaminated some of the food items sold there. Nevertheless, for her and many others, economic considerations often take precedence over health concerns.
The prices are reasonable, so that's why we all come here. But the dust and most of the food are being it's on the floor. I mean, it's just being sold on the floor. Sometimes you don't have any choice. When you go, you have to just do your salt water and then wash them. But it's not good. I mean, you have no choice because of the prices. So we always come because the economy is also difficult. So sometimes it's even condo on the floor. I mean, being sold on floors. It's not good. Fruits, vegetables on the floor. And the air, all the air settle on it. Very, very bad.
In the vibrant market of Agbogbloshie, Makola and Madina in Ghana, a notable trend emerges as the week unfolds. Data from Breathe Accra, a project that aims to improve air quality, reveals that pollution levels tend to rise on Wednesdays and Thursdays, coinciding with the bustling market days. On Wednesdays, when these markets buzz with vendors and shoppers, pollutants in the air soar. Agbogbloshie sees the highest spike, attributed to the increased vehicular traffic and market activities. On Thursdays, the pollution readings are still high, and this reflects the lingering impact of bustling market days. For happy shoppers, every visit is literally a headache.
Sometimes, I mean, you can't even breathe properly. The air is polluted. You live here most of the time with catarrh, headache. I mean, it's not good. It's not good. The sanitation around is very, very poor. Very, very poor. Something has to be done about it.
Many traders desperate to eke out a living spend over 12 hours inhaling toxins only to end up in hospitals. Mary Ochre, a trader by profession, says she has noticed the terrible effect on her health already.
There are some areas within the Accra metropolis that me standing here, I will not buy eggs from, because the eggs, immediately they get there, the following day, the eggs are being polluted, or they are being contaminated with some of these chemicals.
Florence Kuchi and her team have been wrestling with both the scrap dealers and the traders, and she's hopeful they will soon win the fight.
They are ensuring that nobody display for sale any food product on the bare ground or below 3 feet. Whatever it is, it must be raised 3 feet up to be on top of something. The mode of storage is also another thing. So we have officers at all these markets that are ensuring that though the area is not conducive, it is natural, it is not someone's making. But there is a way we can do to mitigate or avert any occurrence that people go there to buy.
For now, Florence advises patrons of markets to wear masks when they visit the market and wash or cook items thoroughly before eating. This story was a collaboration with New Narratives. Funding was provided by the Clean Air Fund. The funder had no say in the content of the story. For Joy News, Michael Ashali.
And now the Member of Parliament for North Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa has observed that the Emerging Public Leaders Ghana initiative is significant in the establishment, institutionalization and keeping a check on strong government institutions, which is largely driven by its public servants in meeting the needs of the population. Mr. Ablakwa was speaking at the 4th graduation ceremony of the Emerging Public Leaders Initiative here in Accra. There's more in the following report.
The Emerging Public Leaders Initiative, Ghana, is a 2-year fellowship program which equips excellent Ghanaian university graduates with transferable leadership skills to effect change in the public sector and beyond. The program also seeks to increase government's capacity and performance, deepen democratic governance, accelerate growth and inclusion by bringing in new, creative and moral talent into government institutions. 20 fellows who navigated a global pandemic in their capacities as trainee civil servants while leading digitalization efforts, among others, passed out at the 4th graduation ceremony held at the MTN head office here in Accra. MP for North Tongue Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa emphasized the significance of the Emerging Public Leaders Initiative in governance. He charged ahead of the civil service to expand the program to reach more people.
This Emerging Public Leaders Initiative is a very, very laudable one. Ultimately, this initiative helps all of us. Even as members of parliament, we have been calling for a fit-for-purpose, very efficient parliamentary service, which is a part of the public service, as you know. I would like to see the Office of the Head of Civil Service increase the allocation for this program. I'll talk to my colleagues so that we will all support. I mean, I don't see who in the House is going to oppose any increased allocation to this initiative.
The EPL Country Director, Madame Juliet Amoa, shared her vision for the cohort contribution to the public sector.
Our cohorts have gone through a 2-year program where we've handheld them to think critically about public goods delivery and public service. And so we're quite proud of the product that we have today after a 2-year journey. We're proud of the work that they have achieved. This year we've got all 20 of them graduating. All 20 of them have done phenomenal work within their ministries and within the public service in general.
Principal of the Civil Service Training Center, Mrs. Dora Day-Tumi, discussed the collaboration with EPL Ghana and how they improve the training curriculum.
We are in an era of digitalization, and that explains where we're looking at e-governance and we are looking at how to leverage technology and enhancing service delivery. So with this, it also makes us realize that there is a need to consider more of how to use technology to improve service delivery. Bottom line is we need to ensure that we deliver the best of services to our citizenry, and by what I have said, it calls for deeper appreciation of going into ICT issues.
Some graduating fellows, Gertrude Akosa and Godwin Kugbulinu, shared how the program has equipped them for their long-term career goals within the public sector.
Through the Emerging Public Leaders Program, I have been able to benefit from specialized trainings from different facilitators on different subjects such as public financing, policy planning, amongst others.
The EPL program has been very exciting and it's been a very wonderful experience for the past years. And going forward, I'm very particular about personal development and professional growth.
The graduating batch of 20 fellows will become part of the Emerging Public Leaders Alumni Network, a developing group of public servants who are dedicated to excellence, serving as change agents for the public sector in Africa. Abigail Diodu's report for Joy News.
Okay, then we take you now to Liberia, because the National Election Commission of Liberia has commenced a coalition of results from Tuesday's elections. All 16 counties have tallying centers established for the process. All 20 presidential aspirants have representatives in all the tallying centers to aid the process. Nana Aljima, who's covering that election in Liberia, visited one of the counties tallying the results and has filed this report.
Electoral districts and what have you. So basically what this is doing is that
Apologies for that. We'll definitely try our connection again and get you the very latest from Liberia. This is the first time the country is holding its elections post the United Nations Stability Force, which has been in the country owing to prolonged conflicts. Is a reason for which the regional body, ECOWAS, is seeking to consolidate the democratic gains made in Liberia. So we'll be getting you some updates shortly as we cross over to my colleague Nana Aljima, who's covering that election for us, who is also on standby monitoring the process. We'll try one more time to see if we can cross over smoothly now to Nana Aljima. Apologies for the earlier hiccup there, but Nana, if you can hear me, let's find out what's happening there.
Liberia's Electoral Commission explained the downpour within southeastern counties affected transportation of election materials. Sino and River Seas are counties badly affected by the rain. Efforts by staff of the commission to cross the river to deliver election materials proved futile, negatively affecting conduct of polls in at least 11 precincts. A truck dispatched to deliver materials in the Battle area was stuck in mud, and alternative arrangement to deploy motorbikes for the mission proved futile. In the River Seas County, some polling stations received materials after 11 a.m., resulting in late start of polls. Most polling stations were overcrowded.
I'm here to vote because I came early this morning to cash out my vote. Yeah. But then says that, the line is too much, so I just decided to wait a little bit until it can reduce.
Did you also come here 6 a.m.?
Yes.
And you're still waiting?
I'm still waiting.
You don't know when exactly you vote. Can you wait for that long?
I will wait for the time.
Okay. Though official statistics on the election are yet to be reviewed, observation from many polling stations proved high voter turnout. By the close of day, data from Situation Room of Economic Community of West African States revealed the election was largely peaceful. Ebenezer Esiedu explains.
Well, from the report that we received on ground, it appears there have not been any security incidents of concern. Obviously, when voting process or voting is going on, you hardly will get, unless of course people try to hijack, tamper with the ballot boxes and all that. Otherwise, usually it is cool. Oftentimes, where we start having security challenges are when tallying and collation are done. The only incident that we have actually received from observers on ground was in regard of a polling station or a polling precinct where the seals of the ballot boxes that were actually brought in were broken. So because of that, both voters and party agents refused and rejected. As we had information from ground, from observers, as at 3:50, they had been assured that the EC were sending new sealed ballot boxes.
Leader of
And we'll definitely keep monitoring the elections and its outcome and bring you some updates as and when we have it. But that's all we have for you in this package of the polls. Bless us all. Thanks for your time.